Hello Fly Nation and welcome to the Freestyle Your Life podcast, the one and only podcast inspiring you to live your authentic greatness while teaching you that less is more. I'm your host, Anesta Zimmermann, and I'm on my mission to help you to be the hero you were meant to be and to live what you came for in life and in business. Remember, the quest we came here for is to discover our true nature, explore our potential and share it by living. Hello Fly Nation, I'm happy to announce the Fly winner of July 2019. Congratulations to Kiera Yalte. She's one of the interviewed experts. On the shortly airing interview, she shares how to travel from one point to another to change your reality and some of the stepping stones for creating a different reality for herself. Her company is named The High Road to Health. She frees people from pain, depression, and life stresses so they can live a healthy life with ease and joy. She also gifted us with a free distance healing session on the Access Bars treatment. So listen in when the interview airs shortly. Hello Fly Nation. In today's episode number 34, Rachel Augusta, an activist for animals, reveals how healing ourselves impacts the health of our pets positively. Research shows that animals take on the stress of their human guardians, and this usually leads to illness in the animal's body. We can also learn happiness and joy from our animals. On the Freestyle Your Life podcast, I'm providing you with insights and life-changing stories by fantastic experts. Healing can come from being inspired, how others could overcome their challenges and obstacles and could find back to joy again, as learning from a life hero's journey gives hope. By subscribing to the Freestyle Your Life podcast on freestyle-your-life.com/podcast and referring 3 friends who might also profit from the tips revealed, you qualify for the I Love the Fly podcast giveaway. You can win amazing and absolutely priceless prizes provided by the experts, as well as the whole Freestyle Your Life system worth of several $1,000s. Let's dive right into today's interview to explore how healing yourself can also heal your pets. So today I have Rachel Augusta here on the talk, and thanks for being with us, Rachel. We know each other from Tampa personally. And time passes so quick, and now we are on the interview here. It's my honor to have you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, and I've just been excited to do this with you.
Yeah, it's great. So from Rachel, we're going to learn more about healing animals from trauma, from cancer, from whatever they suck. Because what I experienced, this is just a foreword, I had 2 dogs. Actually, I have a Labrador mix with Podenco, with a Spanish hunting dog. And before I had a Golden Retriever, both, wonderful ladies, and sort of my 3rd child. I have 2 sons. And what I experienced with my Golden Retriever, who was actually there before my children, before my sons. She was so highly sensual and emotional like I am, and such an empath. And when I ran through my first cancer illness, she took it away from me, right? She finally, with 13 and a half years, she died on cancer in the women's part. What my English is
in the ovaries. She had ovarian
cancer. Yes.
Oh, so, and you had ovarian cancer first, and then she ended up with ovarian cancer.
Yes, believe it or not, it was just like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I carried her in the until the last minute. And I got the whole operation there at early age of life, but just after my second child. And so sort of my second child, Sandro, and me, we saved each other's life because, I suffered from this cancer. Normally, this is a cancer really growing that quick. And with the annual sort of surgery, it could be too late, actually, right? So you've just been there in the surgery and could be too late after 1 year. So I was there actually because of the surgery of my second son, Sandro, to check if everything with the child is okay, if it's everything going good. And so they saw that at a very early stage. But the problem was I was carrying the child, so I couldn't go into the operation. So that was sort of the problem. So first, he saved my life because I was there for the surgery for him. And,
right.
And that was how we ended up. So after giving him birth, I went straight to the next hospital to have the operation there. So just a forward. But we are both so much about animals, and I would love for you to share how did you come to do what you're doing now, so working on the animals, and was it the first intention, or what did you get there on the process? And how are you working there? How can you heal cancer or trauma from animals? So that would be my question for you.
Yeah. So the first part was how I got into this, and it's my own personal story of my soul companion, my kitty, who was really like my soul companion, my daughter. When you're really close to these animals, they're like your babies. And she's really my soul companion. She got really, really sick. And I took her to the vet. Mm-hmm. And at the time she was 17 years old. And the vet basically said, well, she's old. Mm-hmm. She's going to die. What do you want me to do? And that was really difficult for me to hear because, even though she was old, I wanted somebody to try and like fight this with me, for me, or give me another option, give me something to work with, not just, oh, well, she's old, she's going to die.
Right.
I just didn't think that was very fair. And what it did was it triggered my mama bear, I'm going to be here for you. And so I was trying to figure out how I could support her. And within a few days, one of my friends reached out to me and said, have you ever heard of this school that's going to be teaching a class at the U of M, which is a university in Minnesota, on animals, and it's called Healing Touch for Animals. And I had never heard of them, but I signed up for the class right away because I knew that, I couldn't go to school to be a veterinarian. I didn't have that sort of time, but I could do something to support her in another way.
Yes.
And it's energy medicine. And at the time I really didn't know much about energy medicine. I mean, I knew a little, and I knew the idea of it, but I didn't really know. At the time it seemed very woo-woo to me, but I didn't care. I just wanted to do anything I could for her. So, so I started taking these classes and using the skills and the tools that they were teaching me. I started using them on her right away. Mm-hmm. And we could immediately see differences. She had hyperthyroidism, and the thing with a disease or an illness is when you put them on medication, when you put anyone on medication, a human or a non-human, it's going to start to break down your liver and your kidneys, Western medicine's really hard on your organs, and especially little animals, it hits them more quickly. And so you might be trying to fix the hyperthyroidism, but then all of a sudden they go into kidney failure because of the medication they're on.
Yes.
But that never happened to her. And the other thing that never happened was that we never needed to increase the dosage of the medication, which is also kind of unheard of. And in fact, her vet said, because I was still taking her to the vet and getting the blood tests and the blood samples and trying to figure out where she was and monitoring her organs. And the vet was like, well, I've never seen this before. I've never seen where we haven't had to increase medication and it hasn't impacted their organs. I don't really know why this is happening. And I explained to the vet, well, I'm using these tools that I learned from Healing Touch for Animals. And the vet was like, well, I don't believe in that. Which made me laugh because I was like, well, you've never seen this before. You've never seen a cat or a dog not need to have their medications increased and their organs start to fail, but you refuse to think that it's anything that I could be doing. And so it was really my soul companion, Holly, and she got me into it. This was not going to be my job. I had no plans for this to be my job. I was doing something else at the time, but it was so, when you're doing everything right, the universe opens all the doors for you.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
You were meant to do that.
Yeah. And all of a sudden my friends were bringing their animals to me. Here, help my dog, help my cat. And I know a lot of people with a lot of animals, and because I'm an activist for animals, I just know a lot of people with a lot of animals. So all of a sudden they're bringing all of their animals to me too. And one day I was like, I think this is my job. I think I should be charging people for this because this is all I'm doing. And so that's really how I got into working with animals, was because of Holly, which is part of the reason why I also consider her my soul companion, is because she woke me up to what I actually came to this planet to do.
Great.
I wasn't here to work.
Wonderful. I truly believe we can learn so much from animals, right?
Yes.
I really believe in that. I just had this in another interview, because they are such empaths, and they feel every energy change and every frequency change we have. They just feel it, and
they feel it, and they can actually smell it.
Right. For example, my the postman, which actually in my case is a postwoman, but she is postwoman and she's afraid of dogs. So if I was a postwoman, I would not and would be afraid of dogs. I would not be postwoman, because that seems stupid to me. But she has this job, and I happen not to get any post any longer because she doesn't want to touch my ground there, and she doesn't want to put the letters in. And so we had a big argument, because of the dog, because Jolie, my dog, she's running free on the whole ground here. And she doesn't like this postwoman. So anytime she knows exactly around 11 to 12, this postwoman will try to put the letters into the case there. And she's coming from all the back, running in high speed to the front door and bark at her. She doesn't do anything, but she's just barking, and she's telling her, get off here. I don't want you to have her, right? Yeah. And this woman, when she's coming around the corner over there into the street, she can smell the fear of this woman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they can smell fear and they respond to fear. And with strangers, a lot of times they're responding to that fear because it's like, well, why are you afraid? Like, what are you doing that's so bad that you should be afraid is kind of their...
That's the meaning behind.
Yeah. But with us, it's like when let's say, because she loves you so much that if you were suffering with fear, she would be worried for you. She's not worried for the post woman, but she is worried for you.
Yes.
And one of the things that these scientists in Italy were able to prove is that, like, we know that dogs can smell our fear and other animals can smell our fear. But what we didn't know is that if they love us or have a deep bond with us, like your dog does with you, and you're dealing with a lot of fear, it creates cortisol in their bodies.
Yes.
It triggers their fight or flight response, and it creates cortisol, and a buildup of cortisol leads to disease.
Yes.
So if you were living in a constant state of fear, it could actually make your dog sick.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the story, what I explained before. They take whatever we have in circumstances and conditions, and especially the stress level, right? So I have another neighbor over on the other side of the street, and I don't like that. We always argue because everybody's putting his car into the ground, right, and closing the door, and those people are just lazy people, and they have their parking lot inside the banner is 3 times bigger than mine, but they are just lazy, right? So they keep their 5 cars they keep them on the street in front of my entrance, right? And I asked them politely and everything. No, they don't want to spell no bad words here, but actually we are not good friends. And of course, my dog, she's really my soul sister. We share every feeling and energy. And as she knows, I don't like these people over there because of their silly and lazy behavior and being very unfriendly, she's barking at them all the time, because she just, when they show up outside of their door, she's barking.
Yep.
She knows, my mom doesn't like them, I'm gonna bark at them, right?
Right, exactly. They really feed off of our emotions, and and that's something that it's like we know that because we can see it, right? But then it's what we don't see that's happening in their bodies because of it. It's like if you were constantly angry, which of course you're not. You're this like sweet, bubbly, smiling woman, which is really great. But if you were really an angry person all the time, they would be responding to that internally as well as externally.
Yeah.
And, and one of the things that people don't, some people, I guess probably understand this, but, they smell a lot better than we do. Yeah. So humans have 10 million neuron receptors associated with smell.
Yes.
Cats have 80 million and dogs have 400 million.
Yeah.
And so she's smelling fear or anger. It's like she has 400 million neuron receptors in her brain that's triggering her whole nervous system.
Yeah.
And making it hard for new cell growth to happen or for gene signals to happen in our proteins, which would be, like your dog who ended up with ovarian cancer. When you had ovarian cancer, she was smelling that on you, that was going into her brain, and she was smelling your fear, and she was smelling, all of those things, and it was going into her brain, and those neuron receptors were actually triggering her ovaries.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this was the time when I left my ex-husband, who is father of my 2 sons. And because I tried hard for 3 years, but it didn't work out. And so I had to leave him. And of course, I had to take the dog with me. And he never had a connection to this golden retriever dog there. And that was what she felt.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up. It's interesting that you bring up that in addition to having ovarian cancer, you were going through a divorce, which is very stressful.
Yes, totally.
And I'm sure it was stressful. You were probably dealing with some depression and anxiety.
Yes.
And your life was feeling like it was being just completely thrown up in the air.
Yes.
And you were pregnant. And
I had both children.
So you had two little boys. You're going through a divorce. All of this is happening.
Yes.
And there's so much. I'm actually really glad you brought that up, because a lot of times when animals get sick, we can go and look at and see what was happening in the home, and there was actually a lot of stress and anxiety and depression. Myself included. Like, now that it's been a few years since Holly has died, I can talk about this without sobbing or really blaming myself. But, a few months previous to her getting really super sick, one of my best friends committed suicide.
Uh-huh.
And a friend of mine found him, but he wasn't totally dead yet.
Oh.
So her life ended up falling apart.
Yes.
We lived together, so we lost our house. I lost my house. I ended up losing my job at the same time, and I found out my boyfriend was cheating on me. Like, all of this stuff happened, and then a few months later, my cat is really sick, and now it's like, if somebody would have told me that I was probably the reason why she got really sick right after she got sick, I think that would have been really crushing on my heart. And I don't like admitting that I definitely probably had a role in that. But if I'm being truthful, I think my emotional state definitely had a role in her.
I'm sure of that. I can feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and that's, I love that you called your dog now your soul sister. Like, I love that term, soul sister, because she was, my soul sister. And she was so connected to me and loved me so much that while I was going through this emotional roller coaster of turmoil, inadvertently, I brought her into it with me.
Yeah, that's what I think. They just take those things from us, or actually, if they cannot convert the feeling they take and the energy from us, then they get sick also, right? So I did rescue my actual dog here from being in the gas killing station in Spain. So they have too much dogs on the street in Spain, right? And they just grab them, and 100-wise, they come into a room. They're gonna drop the gas, and 100 dogs in just like that killed, right? And I did rescue her from that killing station. And she was with the tail cut, the ear cut, in such a bad condition. Nobody took her. And
bless you. Thank you.
I have that.
We need more people like
her, and she knows. She knows. I can leave just the door open on the ground. She will not go out there. She knows I'm staying right here.
Yes, I don't need to be on the street. I've been on the street.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But that also really helps understand her protection of you.
Yeah,
when you're like, I don't want my neighbors parking out there. She's like, okay, Mom, I got this. You saved me. I want to save you. Like, she wants to keep you protected now because you rescued her from death.
Right. Yeah. She will always protect me. She's a lovely dog, but if somebody, and actually in our region here, we have a big problem with all the immigrants coming here, and it's quite too much. And right now, it's not safe to go as a woman for a walk with your dog, which is really shame, because of course, I love walking my dog, but it's I had several occasions now. There was a group of sort of younger, immigrant looking like men, and they were trying to attack. And she was really acting on that. I never saw her before like that, because she could smell what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, what their plans were. Where in Germany do you live?
Nearby Frankfurt.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this turned out really bad here. I cannot just go for a walk with my dog. And she's a tall dog. She's a Labrador. She's not a small
I was
puppy.
going to ask you what kind of a dog she was. A lab. Yeah.
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 Lab and Podenco mix.
Yeah. How old is she? Do you know?
She's now 10, and she's getting gray and old like me. But
You're not old and gray.
I try to perform good, but actually we are both of us getting older. Let's name it like that. So
yes.
But the thing is, she wants to protect.
Yeah, that's her job. I think all animals have, they have a purpose, they have a role, just like we do as humans, that we want to fulfill in our life or in our house or with our family. And everyone has a different role, a different purpose, a different job. And hers is to be your protector. But, not all dogs want to do that. Some, their role is to be your creative muse. But she's taken her job very seriously.
She's doing every job needed here. So I have her on my webpage as security chef.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
So please, Rachel, share a little bit with us and our listeners. How do you approach the healing there?
So I work with clients really all over the world that have a lot of cancer is a big thing, disease that I work with a lot of. I work with animals that vets can't necessarily work with.
She wants to come.
Oh, sweet. Oh yeah, I see her little. Oh, she's so sweet. Does she speak Spanish, German, and English? So sweet. I work with a lot of kids.
To have a look who is talking there.
There. Yes, she's like, who are you talking to? So I work with a lot of cancer patients because cancer is so prevalent. And cancer is showing up in older dogs, but it also shows up in younger dogs as well. And sometimes Western medicine can come up with a game plan. They can recommend chemo, but not all animals are candidate for chemo. So I get a lot of clients whose animals don't qualify for Western medicine. And then I also work with animals whose with animals who do qualify for chemo, but their guardians, their humans want them to work with me and their veterinary, which is great. I love it when you can do multiple things. And so cancer is a big one. And the thing about cancer is that it's a really scary disease, but it's one of the diseases we know most about. It's a low vibrational energy in the body. And so the body sees it as an embryo that it needs to feed. And what we need to do is raise the vibration of the cancer so that the body sees it as a foreign object that it needs to get rid of, which is essentially what radiation does. But you can do this naturally with energy medicine as well without any of the side effects, which is what's really great. So with cancer, what we need to do is we need to get the brain to release chemicals in the animal's brain, to release chemicals into the body that triggers the physiological relaxation response. And I love talking about the physiological relaxation response because it's something that we all get. Like if somebody were to come to me and be like, really, how do you cure cancer? How do you put cancer into remission without chemo? Like, how do you do that with your hands? How does that actually work? And it sounds really woo-woo, and people think it's magic or witchcraft. It's not at all. It's once you understand the physiological relaxation response, it actually makes a ton of sense. So if you, Ernesta, were to go to the doctor with a broken arm, your doctor would ask you what your pain level is. They ask you that because you actually can't heal if you are in pain. You won't heal. So if you say I'm a level 4 or level 3, they're going to give you a Tylenol or an Advil or something. If you say I'm a level 10, they're going to give you morphine or a Percocet.
Yes.
Because they need to get those chemicals flowing in your brain. Mm-hmm. So whenever somebody has cancer, I'm just going to assume their body's in pain. And I'm just going to assume they're at a high level. And so we get the brain to release endorphins or serotonin. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, the muscles relax. And when your muscles relax, your blood can become oxygenated, which means like more oxygen can flow through those spaces.
Right.
And when that happens, your body can starts creating enzymes, digestive enzymes, and your hormones start to regulate. Mm-hmm. And when your hormones regulate and your body's creating these digestive enzymes, all of a sudden you start to go through a detox, and then you have new cell growth.
Yes.
And that is how we can combat and go after a lot of diseases, is by getting your brain, the chemicals in your brain, to release what they need to get your body to heal. Yeah. But you can flip that around the other side. So that's how we get the body to heal. How do we get the body to go into disease? Dis-ease. Mm-hmm. Is there's other chemicals. There's chemicals for fear. Mm-hmm. There's chemicals for self-pity. There's chemicals for anger. And those chemicals, when your brain releases those, they attach to your proteins. And over time, they degrade your protein and break down your protein, and there is no new cell growth.
Right.
Which is why people who live in a constant state of anger and anxiety and depression often end up sick.
Yes.
That dis-ease creates disease.
Yes.
And so if we can get the chemicals that create new cell growth, you can heal a lot of issues in the body with humans and animals.
Yeah. Thanks for explaining that so wonderful, Rachel. That was just brilliant. Because, it's a sort of, if you're not involved in that topic, right? It's a sort of how does everything relate, and how of course, symptoms we experience, right? We don't want to have them. So the normal reaction is fight and flight and just push them away, and we want to get rid of them, right? Because it's not ease, it's dis-ease, right? But what I learned in my life lessons, and I had so many of them, was whenever I tried to get rid of something, name it illness, what I experienced the most, was it hit me even harder, right? Because we focus on it, and what we want to get rid of will come after us even more, right? So this is surely not the mechanism we can get rid of it, right? And that's why I love it how you just explained it. For my consideration, and I have quite some experience after 4 cancer illnesses, is that it's still a part of us, right? It's not you inside me. It's still a part of myself. It's a part we don't want to have there, of course, but I truly believe it's the last chain after plenty of symptoms before we get signs to show us this is not the right way you're doing it, staying in a relationship that's just shouting and fighting,
right?
Then this is you'd rather separate, or whatever the case might be for our listeners out there. But that was my case, actually. So I got so many signs and symptoms, and it got stronger and stronger and stronger. And at the end, there is cancer, which is, there is no more guessing. It really hits us so badly that we have to change our complete life. Even maybe we face death and don't survive. We have plenty of examples of that. So that's a severe, wake up call. I cannot name it other than that. And if we don't understand that hit and that wake up call, we surely don't end up in ease and trying to solve the situation there. And what I believe is it's all about energy. Totally agree with you. And so cancer is a growth of cells that will not belong in the special part wherever they are in the body, but they gonna tell us something what we should consider. And the really challenge is to understand the symptoms. So as I had so many of them for my special own case, I became really expert on that, reading symptoms, because nobody could tell me what's wrong here, and I had to figure all this shit out on my own because I wanted to heal myself. I wanted to survive. Yeah. I had the dog, I had the 2 kids and everything, and I was still very young. So that was what my path was, to work towards it. And what I learned is I was sitting, sometimes I tell it, I was sitting like in an oval office in a big tables with all the so-called enemies, which actually we know better. They are not. They are like, it's a long way to consider them as friends, but they have a message and a sign for us. And the quicker we come to the point that we try to understand what they want to tell us, the nearer we come to being better, right? If we ignore all that's a big problem. So I was sitting there on my oval office table with everybody here that was giving me problems, and just acknowledging them, just seeing them, just giving them a voice, and that was really a big thing for me that brought me into my own solution. So that's wonderful how you explained that.
You definitely have been through a lot. And, I think, earlier when we were talking, you said we have a lot to learn from animals. They're our teachers. Yeah. I agree. And I think our biggest lesson to learn from them is joy and happiness. Yeah. Animals are so happy until humans come in and maybe ruin their lives or do something to them. But deep down in their hearts, they are just joy. They're joy and their happiness, and they can get over things pretty quickly, even really terrible abuses that have been done to them. Like your own dog, she had a really hard life, but now she's living with you and she's happy and she enjoys her life. Yeah. Whereas a lot of humans couldn't do that. They couldn't heal in the way that your dog has healed, emotionally and spiritually. And I think our biggest lesson with animals is joy. It's finding happiness, and the reason why I think it's our biggest lesson is because it's what actually cures us of disease. Of course there are other things, but I would say that like, I believe, and I do believe this, I believe our joy is the antidote to disease in ourselves and our
Totally agree.
And so in your story, it's that, you know, you were going through all this cancer, and ovarian cancer. I mean, like, if you
ovarian, breast, everything.
Breast, I mean, that's female, like, that's your marriage. That's, you know, all the things that your body's saying you're not happy in your relationship with yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is where you need to find joy, and you need to heal emotionally.
Yeah.
And I think our animals are here to say, well, watch me. I will show you how to find joy and happiness.
Yeah.
And when we do, you know, it can create miracles.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to point out, that we really could learn from our animals.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
I'm working too hard here, right? And I'm so concentrated, and I try to figure out all the technical things here. I'm not the technical girl.
Right.
I have to do it to be able to do the interviews. But normally I have my technical assistant there, and he's fixing it, but today he's not here, and I had the problem just in the interview before. And then she comes and kicks me and come on, let's go for a walk. I said, no.
Yeah, totally.
I have Rachel coming up now. We cannot go for the walk. And now it's shortly after 8 in the evening. It's dark, so we cannot go outside now because of the darkness. So tomorrow we have.
Yeah.
And then she said, well, you worked too much now. Let's go for a walk.
Let's go play. Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, I live now. Holly was my soul kitty companion, and now I live with a new kitty. Her name is Sugar Pants, and Sugar Pants really.
The one on your side?
What's that?
The one who was there?
That's Sugar Pants. So Holly was my teacher. Mm-hmm. Sugar Pants is my play teacher. Like, she teaches me to play. She wants to play all the time. And if I'm working too much, she really does interrupt that and stop it. And I've learned to recognize that she's my union member, my union representative.
Yeah, wonderful.
She makes sure I work too much. And play, you know, it's like, that's why we're here. Like, we're on this planet to enjoy our lives and to learn, but to grow and be happy and find joy. Intertwined, you know, like, we've all had really hard lives, but you need to be able to find the joy that's intertwined with the strife. And I think that's how animals are such great healers to us.
Yeah. Totally agree, Rachel. And you know what? I discovered for myself that I was not living authentic, right? Because I was sort of, I still am, but at a normal level. But I was helping everybody, and even was in the state conditions, physical conditions to do it, but I still did. And I was just running empty, right? And that's totally unhealthy. And what I consider, I was afraid of saying what I mean, of saying no. I never said no, right? I didn't even know the word no, or setting up boundaries, which is absolutely necessary, because I'm such an empath. I can feel the other person. So I was feeling the other person whenever I was about to say no to something, because it just didn't work out or whatever. And because of that, I didn't say no. And that came back to me, of course, right? So I lied to myself all the time in order to protect the others. How silly is that, right? But I had to realize it, and I had to transform all that. And that was my healing. Because I was not lying like telling a lie, but I was not acting for myself. Because I was not saying if it wasn't right for me, I didn't say no, it's not right for me. I'm sorry, just to be authentic. But I didn't act on it because I could feel the other person's emotions, and that's why I didn't do it. But that was still completely lying to myself, right? And being not authentic. So like the animals, they're the best teachers for authenticity.
They really are. You know, if you want to learn how to set boundaries, hang out with a cat.
Yeah, and my mission here is really to inspire and motivate people to get out of these fucking roads. Excuse me for the expression there, but we are playing roads all day and night, and living other people's lives and sabotage ourselves on top. And now we wonder we have illness.
Right.
There is nothing to wonder about, right? It's just we have to understand it mostly by experiencing it ourselves, and then to transform it, which of course is not easy. Nobody said it would be easy, but it's, in my situation, it was the only solution to all that.
Right. And the thing is
yours too, right?
Yeah. It's with you saying we have to get out of our way. We put up these roadblocks. We have to get out of our way. We need to live our lives. We need to live authentically. We do. And not only is it important for us and our health, but it's actually imperative to our animal companions' health. And as women, a lot of times we won't do things for ourselves. We won't set boundaries for ourselves. We won't take care of ourselves. We won't do things that make us happy unless it benefits someone else.
Yeah, totally. But we have to learn that. And if you can't do it for yourself and you live with an animal, do it for them. Go and find joy and self-love for your animal companions, because not only is it killing you, it's killing them to not do that. On top, yes.
Because I talk about this. We have a personal, if animals can smell you, they can smell your happiness, they can smell your sadness, they can smell if you have diabetes. Animals can smell if you have cancer. They can smell all of these things on you. What is your personal perfume? In other words, what do you smell like emotionally? Do you smell like joy or happiness, or do you smell like regret and hatred for your ex? And if you could smell yourself in the way that animals smell you, would you want to change it? And, and I talk about that with my own clients, like your personal perfume. What is your personal perfume? And are you toxic smelling, or do you smell good? Do you smell like do you smell like a flowery meadow, or do you smell like a toxic city? And what do you want to be? And when we think about that, it's like, oh my God, I want to smell good. I want to smell like a meadow.
Yeah, but that's great, Rachel, because you're pointing out that you bring your clients to awareness, right? We have to be conscious and to come to awareness of whatever's going on there. There is a reason for illness to show up in us and also in our animals. And we have to figure that out. And an expert who was dealing with all that, him or herself, like we did, could likely be of help, right? This is nothing you can read, right?
Right. I mean, the thing is, these are like kind of out there ideas, right? People always say woo woo, and I have come to like kind of hate that term woo woo, because woo woo is anything that doesn't fall in Western medicine. But honestly, and I will preface this by saying, I love Western medicine. If you have a bullet wound, or you need to have your ovaries removed, or if you have heart surgery, by all means, go to a hospital. But the thing about Western medicine is that it's not everything. I mean, Western medicine is still learning. I was listening to a researcher say that he's like, when you scratch your hand, dead skin cells fall.
Sort of, the video is just freezing on your side there.
And we paused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead with the last sentence, please. We didn't hear it.
Oh, okay. So here, I'm just going to plug this in. Make sure this is plugged in. Is it? Okay, there we go. So this researcher said that, when we scratch our hand, dead skin cells fall off. And our hand knows when to regenerate new skin cells. And our hand knows also when to stop regenerating new skin cells.
Mm-hmm.
No biologist can answer how. We still haven't figured out how our body knows when to start and stop.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is why, going back to I'm tired of hearing the term woo-woo, because anything that falls outside of Western medicine is woo-woo. But honestly, Western medicine doesn't know a whole lot.
Mm.
I mean, we're still trying to figure out really simple, basic things.
Mm.
And so if we say, well, that's woo-woo, that's woo-woo, it's like, well, everything's woo-woo, but these concepts of my joy is the antidote to my own disease is woo-woo, but God, what a great, profound lesson, what
I say, whatever it is, whatever it's called, it helps, it is it, right?
It works. And, and it's like, I've worked with, at this point, thousands of cancer patients. But truthfully, I would way rather work on preventing cancer. I love being able to come into a house and work with a dog or a cat or a horse or a bunny or whoever and help them put their cancer in remission. But I would love to not see so much cancer on this planet. And when you think about women, like a lot of women have fur babies, whether it's by choice or not by choice. A lot of women have chose careers. And so it's easier to have a dog or cat because they're not getting married until later or whatever it is, or they're choosing not to, or their bodies won't allow them to, whatever the reason.
Yeah.
Women work really hard. And we are entrepreneurs. We have to work harder out in the world because, because we don't have the same rights as men. So we have to work longer hours. We have to stay at the office longer. We have to prove ourselves. So we're working. Mm-hmm. And we're not tapping into our joy and our self-care. Mm-hmm. And then, we have this dog or cat family member who's suffering physically because of it. Mm-hmm. Not only are we suffering, not only will we end up with disease because of it, mm-hmm. but so will our family members. Mm-hmm. And so for me, this is a mission where it's to wake women up, be happy, go find joy, get your joy back into your body, go take baths, go connect with other women, go hug somebody, go find joy in your life because mm-hmm. it's going to prevent disease in you and in your animals. And if we can prevent cancer, if that's the antidote, and I do believe it is,
mm-hmm. It is.
I mean,
it's totally. And what I always love to say is just by sharing a smile on the street, right? Or me, I'm the person I love to hug, and that's the hug is real exchange of energy, right?
Yeah.
So
and it releases
that doesn't cost anything. Everybody could do that.
Yeah. It what it does is it puts the power back in our hands.
Yeah.
And it helps us know that we have options. And one of the things when I work with animals, I can tell you that animals, when an animal's been diagnosed with cancer, let's just say cancer, and the human or their guardian is really worried for them and really afraid they're going to die, they usually die pretty quickly.
Mm.
When the human or the guardian, I don't like to say owner, by the way, I don't feel like we should own our animals. They live with us. They're our family members. Yeah. But when the human or the guardian gets the diagnosis and thinks, we're going to beat this, the animal usually does.
Yeah.
And it's such, and that's true with our own bodies. They know that when somebody has been, we see it actually, when somebody's been diagnosed with something and they give up on life.
Yeah, it's gone.
They die quickly.
Yeah.
But when they say, no, I'm going to totally beat this, I'm in it to win it, I'm going to enjoy my life, they usually go into remission. And the same is true with our animals. So a lot of times when people's animals have been diagnosed with cancer, I tell them, they're like, what can I do? Like, you're doing what, like, you're here to help my animal with cancer, but what can I do? And one of the first piece of advice I give them is find joy. Totally. Be positive. Be positive. Don't sit and think about your animal dying, because they're going to know that you're thinking that. They're going to smell that you're thinking that. And that would be like if somebody was standing over you while you're sick. Like if Ernesto, when you were fighting your ovarian cancer, that would be like if your mom would have been over you saying, you're going to die, you're going to die, we're so worried, you're going to die, you're going to die. You probably would have been like, I'm dying. And you would have, versus somebody who's with you saying, we're going to fight this. I'm here with you. Yeah. We're working on this together. We're going to, and, maybe plays happy music and wants to like increase your happiness and joy. And the power in that. So it's like, there's two sides to it. It's like, first of all, our emotions can make them sick. And then once they've been diagnosed with something very scary, our emotions can make it way, way worse.
Yeah.
And if we know,
Totally agree.
Yeah, and we know that our emotions create cortisol in their bodies, and cortisol leads to disease, and cortisol can lead to cancer. And so if they have a tumor, a cancerous tumor, the worst thing we can do is be worrying for them, because then their body continues to feed that tumor.
Yeah, totally. And we are here for our listeners to give them advice and tips, because of course, if something happened and if you get the diagnosis with cancer, I got that 4 times in my life, and still had little children and everything, and the doctors just smash it like that. You freak out, right?
Yeah.
It's a really one of the toughest things, but it's still something you can get support by somebody who went through all that, right?
Yes.
I didn't transform over and over just because of fun. No, I did it because I had to.
Right.
That's how I trained myself, and that's why I know I was in those shoes, and you with your story. So thanks for being so honest and sharing it. How you came to that, and that's why we got the calling to do what we are doing now, right? Because so many people are waiting for the time to go by, and till the evening, till the weekend, till the holidays, till the retirement, and life is gone like that, right?
Right.
And this is, for me, life is lifetime is the most valuable asset on earth, because it's not replaceable. It's just gone. Right. And once you face death, you know exactly the hour is arriving soon, right? And you could have every money of the world. There is nothing to buy. Time is not to buy. right? And with the wrong mindset, and of course it starts with the mindset, but I'm the I really work a lot of on the emotional part, because we have to heal that trauma just by thinking, oh, everything is nice, if you inside you don't believe it.
Right.
That's not the like going through mantra, then everything is nice, but what you experience is a whole lot of shit.
Right.
You don't believe it, right? So
it goes back to that, being authentic.
You could talk forever, but your body doesn't believe it.
Yeah, it's it's the difference between, it's having joy, like true joy. And, joy is not happiness. Happiness can come and go. Joy lives in your body and is waiting for you. But what I've learned is that, it's waiting for you, but you have to be willing to pick it up. You have to be willing to accept it. But it's that having that real, true joy in your life. And if you're just skating by, going to work, coming home, watching TV, going to work, coming home, watching TV, and you're letting your life move by, you haven't tapped into your joy, because you would never be doing that. Exactly.
That's exactly. And that's just important to point that out. And
that's why your dog wanted to go for a walk. That's why this is not going to bring us joy. The joy outside.
She opens the door herself so she can go wherever she wants. She actually went downstairs and just came back and looking at me like that. So she wanted to tell me,
is this interview over?
It's time now. That's enough now. She's just kidding me. But anyway, we have been talking very long now. So before we're gonna wrap it up, because it's 8:30 already here. I wanted to point out you have a monthly healing membership course. I will put all that in the show notes.
Yes, I would love that. I offer a monthly group healing for women and their fur babies. And it's for everybody. It's for everybody in your house, basically the women and their fur babies. It's to help women tap into their joy so that they can be the emotional support to their animals that they need to be. And then it also helps the animals adjust and work through whatever they're working through. And if you put information to that, that would be great. It happens once a month. I have a free audio on my website that can be listened to if people want to go download it. It's a really beautiful antidotal audio affirmation you can listen to with your animals as well.
But you have it online, so actually,
it's on my website.
Where are you?
Sorry,
where are you located actually?
Oh, I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but I have clients all over. I have clients in Lithuania and France and Australia and all over the United States and Europe. They can go to my website, which I think will be listed below, but otherwise it's RachelAugusta.com. So
I will list it, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
So because some listeners might be on the run or in the car on the gym,
I appreciate that.
And they are not able to ride. That's why I will have everything.
Most people multitask on podcast listening.
For them to look it up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like it is. That's why we are on podcast, and that's the advantage of this medium, right? So
definitely.
Once you don't get it, it is not efficient if it's not put in the show notes.
Totally. Thank you.
Because it's gone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate just talking to you, getting to know you even better, and hearing your own story and just talking animals. I know we could talk animals all day long.
Yeah. We could be sitting tomorrow.
Yeah. But your fur baby would be like, no. Me. It's all about me.
It's her time now.
Yeah, it's her time now. Well, thank you so much, Erneste. And
thank you, Rachel, for being such a great guest, for sharing all the stories and experiences you made there. And it was just wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Well,
Thanks
big
so
hugs and love to
hear you. Hopefully we see each other in September, right?
Yes, that's the plan. Definitely. Okay. We'll have to talk more.
We go for that.
Okay.
So big hug. Bye.
I know, big hugs. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Hello, Fly Nation. I hope you got new inspiration to seek help and to surrender to love and health, no matter what situation you or your pet are in. Hopefully you could take away that transformation is possible and it doesn't have to be a long, hard journey. It is possible to come to a sense of peace and to embrace life joyfully. All experts and myself are happy to assist and support you. Just reach out to us. Tune in next Thursday when Eva Venare is here with me to inspire you. And please subscribe to the Freestyle Your Life podcast on freestyle-your-life.com/podcast and download your free ebook, Shortcuts to Break Free and Fly. Remember, Fly Nation, break free and fly. Talk to you on Thursday. Bye.